Dawn, it's important
Yes.
that when you're in a group that you remain really close, because, and I'm saying that because then you have people whispering in your ear, maybe you need to do this, maybe, and then it falls apart. I want to start reading more of the comments. Dee said, Dawn, you were blessed to be a star. Exclamation
Wow.
point, exclamation point, exclamation point. Not your fault. Everyone gravitated towards you, all in capitals, and not
Wow.
in capitals them. Terry, Cindy, Raphael. And also, let
Thank
me,
you so much, Dee.
and Dee says, yeah, you want to be prepared for litigation, Dawn. In Vogue 3.0 ain't got no stimulus check. And when you start collecting coins, they're going to come after yours.
For what? What do they mean by that?
She means is when you start being more, because you're successful
Oh,
and
I
when you,
understood what she meant, but how there's no way the Envoy can come for my coins at all. If that was the case, I would have went for their coins years ago.
right,
Because
okay.
they kicked me out of the group. I should have sued them, and I actually did have the right to do that because it was wrongful termination. You guys are pushing me out of the group because I'm speaking my mind to the label. I'm saying things that matter. I'm saying things that they don't like. So the label was like, let's get rid of her because she is a troublemaker. She's a bitch. She's a problem. She's a whistleblower. So that's why the label was like, we got to get rid of her. But the girls stood behind the label instead of saying, wait a minute. Okay, it has been 8 years. Dawn is absolutely right. We're only making 2 pennies a record after all this success and after all these millions of records being sold. And we are making 2 pennies a record. Dawn is absolutely right. And we're not kicking her out. In fact, we're going to go with Dawn. We're going to get behind her and we're going to go get a better deal. So that's what Cindy, Terry, and Maxine should have done. It wasn't about me saying I got to go be solo or none of that stuff. I was scared to death. So if there was going to be any lawsuits, it should have been me suing them because they took away my income. They took away my rights to make money. I couldn't use the name En Vogue because they had me sign off on using the name En Vogue. So that was I helped you guys build it and you don't want me to go out and use the name? How selfish. How greedy. Again, I should have sued them.
How have you come to terms? Because we see your spirit and you're teaching us right now, okay? And Stephanie, I'm going to get to your question, but I want to know because trust me, there's some people I want to put pause on, but you don't do it. How did you, because this was your livelihood, you know, this was your livelihood. How did you then come to a place where you're like, okay, I'm just going to start over and just do me? How did you get to that place?
Well, I kind of knew that if I didn't do that, I was going to be consumed with En Vogue. So I just felt like, okay, I can do battle by myself. I've been broke with En Vogue for 8 years. Like, in other words, we were making money on the road, of course. We weren't super broke like I am now. But I was like, we're not making the millions that all the people around us are making. Our managers, our producers, really the manager, David Lombard, I don't think had millions, but I know he had more than us. But I know that our producer, Denzel Foster, had a mansion. Our choreographer had a mansion. The guy that helps us dance, or teaches us to dance, has a freaking, there's a problem here. And the only way that I kept my sanity is because I knew my strength. I knew my worth. I knew fighting against them or spending any time in a lawsuit situation is, first of all, costing money. I don't have at the time. And if I don't move on with my life, I'm going to be stuck here trying to fight these girls. So I just went on with my life. I knew my worth. I knew that I had sung the biggest hit that we had at that time. You guys are kicking me out during Don't Let Go. Good luck with that. Good luck with how that's going to work out for you. And I don't think it will because, again, you had me singing the biggest hit. So when you know your power, this is the thing I keep trying to tell people. And I've been doing this for like 10 years with social media. I'm just putting up a good word every day for free, just because I want people to hear you by yourself are worth so much. You don't need a man to tell you that. You don't need your boss, your kids, your parents, your neighbor. You don't need anybody to tell you how great you are. You're automatically that. We were all born with favor. We were all born with amazing skills and abilities that we probably don't even know of, that we're not even aware of. And hearing other people's stories as well. Like, I think you talked about Journey a little while ago when we first started talking. I think Steve Perry got into a rut and he was angry with a lot of stuff. And instead of seeing his worth after he left Journey, he kind of got bitter. But if you allow bitterness to take you under, you become, oh my God, I'm in a rut. I've let all these, and I did get into a rut, but I still held my integrity. In other words, I was in a rut to where you and I, if we had a conversation, we were just talking girl to girl, woman to woman, and just sitting down having coffee somewhere, I would be like, don't talk to me about them bitches. I don't want to fucking hear about Cindy. Don't bring them up, please. And I was that angry. Now I can talk about them, and I'm angry to a point, but it's not consuming me like it did before. I can't explain it.
You were going through a grieving process. Think about it. Everything like with a death. It was basically a death. So at first you're angry, and then now you're at a place that I love. I love it. I mean, regardless, not me. So let me not say me. We all love you. We loved you regardless. So the fact that you're telling us that and that's why, my show is called, my company's called Women Are Worthy. We have worth. We have, whether you're a man or a woman, we have it inside. Because think about this. They can take whatever they want to take. They can't take your spirit. They can't take your soul. They can't take your damn talent. Let's be real, okay?
That's right.
Because you got it. You know what I'm saying? So you can start over, whatever it is. Think about this. They've never had a hit since. Okay.
No, they have not.
And it's not.
And this is the thing. Somebody said to me one time too, they said, well, you haven't either. And I said, well, you're absolutely right. But I'm not the one with the brand. They still had the brand in Vogue.
No, but you did have a hit. You went on to Lucy Pearl. So you had a hit, even though it's with a group. But you know what I'm saying? It was your voice. Come on. You see, you can be humble right now. Let me do the talking. Let me talk. Okay. It was your voice, and it was because everyone gravitated. Yes, he was with Tony, but everyone gravitated. Let's be real, and I'm sure everybody in the group is gonna say yes. They gravitated towards it because, oh my God, she's back. She's with Lucy Pearl, and they love that voice. When you think about it, when you left Lucy Pearl and he had the replacement, no hits.
No,
okay,
no,
so
ma'am.
I'm gonna keep it real. Now, Stephanie Grant said, "Who's someone that you would always want to collaborate with on a song and perform with?"
Gosh, there's so many artists. Oh my gosh.
Give us three.
I love Maroon 5 because I think they got a lot of soul. They're a bunch of white boys, but they are they're soulful. I love Maroon 5. I mentioned Jasmine Sullivan, but she would sing me Under the Ground. I would be like, okay, I quit. I quit this business. No, I can hold my own with her. Who else would I love to work with? Come on now. I wish Raphael and I could work again because I think what we did was magical.
Mm-hmm.
But there was another part to that puzzle that they're no longer together anymore. Jake and the Fat Man were my producers before I did Lucy Pearl. And when Raphael heard what I was working on with them, he was like, well, bring them in because I want to work with them too. I think they'd be great for this project. So, and they're not working together anymore. So a Lucy Pearl project wouldn't come together without them. You know what I mean? It just wouldn't work. Sorry. It wouldn't work. Who would I want to work with?
While you're thinking, Dee said the fans were mad as hell. TS, let me read TS. MAGA TNS says, hi, Dawn. After all these years, you were the most memorable. What's their names again? Ooh, that was Shady Boots.
Oh, my God.
Chris said, Chris B said she sang Firm Biz with Nas. That was a hit.
Wow.
I'm telling y'all, she's so humble. Let me speak. Let me say what she's not going to say, okay? D said, and a boy, D Angel at LOL, and a boy, a fabulous one, and a boy. I don't know what that means. Her, yes, she said she wants to do something with her. NB says, God will give you back all that was stolen from you.
Wow.
Let me repeat that. Let me repeat this because this is what you need to hear. Wow. NB, I'm with you. I'm right there with you. NB says, God will give you back all that was stolen from you, plus more. Overflow of blessings. Forgive the other girls for yourself so your soul can be completely at peace. Love you, Dawn. That's from NB. Okay.
Wow, NB. Thank you so much. I do receive that. That is a blessing over my life. Thank you so much, NB.
Christine said, I've never seen her eyes open so wide before.
Well, I can't. I got these cheeky eyes, but I don't know when people say forgive. That part is hard for me because I don't know how. In other words, how can you forgive some like Raphael? Okay, so with Lucy Pearl, Raphael said to me, if you sign with me, because I had some deals on the table when I signed with him. And I've known Raphael since we were 16, so I went ahead and signed the contract. Yeah, he was 16, I was 16. He would play in my band. So I just trusted him a little too much. I read the contract, but I didn't underline and redline and fine tune my points on that contract. And I signed it. So he told me, I don't have a lot of money to give you up front as a as an advance. But whatever you need when the time comes, if you need something, I got your back. So here we are. We recorded the whole album. We were supposed to put it out in June. Here we are in November. So June, July, October, November, December. Oh, I'm sorry, November. I passed it. Lord have mercy. And the album is still not out. So I'm not making income. So I ended up losing my house. That's very difficult to forgive. It's very hard to do that. I don't know where to find that part of myself that says, oh. And so I keep reading. I literally have read a lot of stuff on forgiveness. And what I keep reading is that forgiveness is not necessarily, because we think that when we forgive, it means that that person was right and they got away with something. So I'm just like, okay, Father. I think they said the one that I understood the most is that forgiveness just frees you from the situation. You're not holding on to anger.
Right.
You feel me? And so, yeah. So forgive him.
Miss McKinney says, let me put it on the screen. Miss McKinney says, it's truly hard to forgive people who've hurt you. So I totally understand what she means. Miss McKinney, I understand too, because you know, you don't want to go to jail. You don't want to send poison in them. You don't want to do that. You want to, forgiveness is more about you than them.
Yes.
You don't forget.
You can't forget. You can't go through something and forget it. Once you experience something, you can't unknow it. You can't unfeel it. You can't unexperience it. So, yeah, that's a difficult one. But you know, it's funny. I still worked with Raphael on Rifle Love. I did a song with him for his own solo project. I'm still waiting to get paid for that, by the way. You see what I mean? It's like I keep going in and forgiving and going back to them. And I love Cindy, Terry, Maxine are my sisters for life, no matter what. Nothing can take that away. We created something that is so magical. And for the rest of our lives, and then our lives after we are gone, our music will be indelible. It's a part of the planet. That is that's amazing right there. Just saying that was like, oh, that's awakening. And so I love them, and I love Raphael. Raphael literally is like, I can see us at 16, like he's sitting on a chair playing on stage because he was too nervous to stand up in front of this crowd. And I was too nervous, so I was standing, playing, singing with my back to the audience. You know what I mean? Because we were kids. And then we create this Lucy Pearl project that is so magical, so above and beyond, so just incredible. And I am proud of everything that I've done, but I got to look into how to forgive again, because I'm still thinking they get the upper hand. If I forgive them, it means everything's okay. No, it's not okay. I lost my house. You got Cindy, Maxine, Terry, you guys took away my livelihood. You put out to the press and to the fans that I was being a diva and I just left and went solo. No, I didn't just leave and go. I didn't want to be out of the group at all. You guys kicked me out. You didn't give me a chance to even explain myself. So, and you kept Terry in the group, even though you kicked me out because I did a solo album, or I was getting ready to do a solo album.
But didn't Terry do a solo album?
Terry did a solo album first, and you didn't kick her out. You kept her in the group. So how can I look at that and say it was fair? It wasn't fair. But I got to forgive you for that? Like, that's hard.
Dee just said, how she says, trust God will show you the way. Harboring anger and hate will only breed the same. What happened, happened. Let it go. You're on a journey for tomorrow. Never forget what someone has done. Let me read the other comment she made. That's what she made. She said, and I love this. This is what she said also. You can break a leg and be in pain while it heals. Once it's healed, you will walk again. You will never forget the break, but you will walk again. I got to use that. I love that. And let me tell you, I'm going to share something with you. I am a survivor of sex trafficking, right? And I was when I was younger, yeah.
Wow,
And
Jackie, you're beautiful. Oh my God.
Thank you. The people in my life who created that environment were family members. It was two people that made this happen, right?
Yes.
I do not, at first, when I got myself together and I was like 15, 16 when this happened. And I'm like, you know what? F them, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But while I was in the street, I had female prostitutes who did so much for me and helped me, right?
Wow.
I'm
Yes.
I'm not, again, I'm saying this to say, I hated those women. They were in my family. I freaking hated them. And I'm going to be honest. I used to pray at night for them to die. Like, let me
I
finish this,
bet.
guys, before you come at me.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I'm
they
not
have no right to come at you.
about
They
this.
have no right to do that. This is your story.
I would pray for. I'm like, why are they still alive? Why, I'm a young girl. I'm out in the street. I don't have a mom. Why would they do this to me? Yada yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
So finally, I started healing little by little. Joan Rivers was instrumental to my healing, right?
Wow. Yes.
And God has always given me favor with women, and favor. He gave not women, gave me favor for whomever.
Got it.
So
Sure.
I am not one of those that could say white people are like this, white people are like that, because they've helped me, right?
Right.
So I decided one day that I was going to forgive. I'm telling you, I was a bitch, a hardcore bitch. You came at me one way, my brother would tell you I would eat you up and spit you up, spit you out, and eat you up.
Exactly. You were angry.
Angry.
Yeah,
And then I started being angry at all women. That's why I chose a male-dominated career, working with men and things like that, and all that kind of stuff, which is crazy. But God told me, Jackie, you have to forgive. I have a bigger plan in store for you. You have to forgive. You have to tell your story about your sex trafficking and females and what you've gone through. You have to tell that story.
Sure.
So I'm like, okay, fine. So I noticed. Now, it was eating away at me where I was having heart issues and things like that. Little by little, I started to forgive. And it was chipping away at me. And then I started to forgive these people. I surrounded myself. Like if I would talk to them, if they were in my presence, I would be cordial. So little by little. So I understand what you're saying, because here I was a young kid, innocent, and I didn't have, I was a minor, but I decided to forgive them. And the best way is to live right, look right, because when I look at them, they don't look nothing like this, okay? Because I look damn good for my age.
Exactly.
But then I see I'm shining in God's light. I'm shining in God's light. And I'm not saying now, I'm no punk now, because I'm good with my hands. I'm no punk. So I realize when God says vengeance is mine, vengeance is mine, said the Lord. So when I do that, so now I realize, and I'm telling you, I promise you, Dawn, and I know you're going to come into it. When you start doing what you need to do, and little by little, you start getting that forgiveness, I'm telling you, you're going to start seeing what's happening to them.
Jackie, this is the thing. No, and I'm sorry to cut you off. I just before I forget my thought. I have forgiven them, and I know this because I can be around them without being angry.
Right.
I can be around them without feeling like, fuck them, I'll never work with them again. And this is what I usually say. I used to say when I first left the group, because they would reach out to me, and I would, no, I'm not doing that. And finally, I was like, you know what? Let me just do this. Okay. And as soon as I would see any of them, it was like, oh my God, Maxine, Terry, I miss you guys. I love you guys. And like I said, I worked with Raphael. I did Rifle Love. He hasn't paid me for Rifle Love. That's a song that he put on his album, and I haven't gotten one check for. Nothing. So this was after Lucy Pearl and after losing my house, and I still went and worked with that man. So I think I've forgiven. I think I have forgiven them. I will never forget. I can't. And so when the memories come up in your mind, it's like, okay, dude, wait a minute. You know that I lost my house, right? So you can't move forward until you make amends with me for what happened. I believed in you. I had deals on the table that I could have signed as a solo artist. RCA was sitting right there. Bob Jameson had me ready to go. And I told him, I said, well, Bob, there's a situation. Raphael Sadiq came to me from Tony, and he has Tribe Called Ali from Tribe Called Quest, and he wants to do the super group. What do you think with me from En Vogue? And all three of us come together. He's like, well, no, I don't think you should do it. And I said, well, I got to parlay. I got to do my thing. And I wish you the best. I thank you for the deal that you had for me. But I really think that this Lucy Pearl, we didn't have a name for it yet, but I think that this group thing with Raphael and Ali is going to be really great. And it's only a one-off. I'm not going to be stuck for 7 years, which was typical of a major record deal. And so I put everything aside, and I had deals on the table. I turned down all these deals that were on the table with him, and he turned his back on me when I needed him the most. And that part is, you lose your house. I don't care who it is. I don't care how kind you are. You could be Mother Teresa. If somebody took something from you that was first of all, my credit is still affected. This was what, 2009? I'm sorry, 99? So 99, 2000. So this is 10 years ago, 11 years now, 11 years ago. My credit is still affected. Because, you lose the house. That was foreclosure. Yes. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's really difficult to see my credit score and say, oh, I love Raphael. I forgive you. It's all good. That part of it is difficult, and I'm still trying. Got to find a way to make it where the forgiveness is there, because I know that I love him. Because I've been around him. Like I said, I did Rifle Love, and I don't see a check yet. We tried to talk about doing a reunion a couple of years ago, and we were going to put Q-Tip in the group, and because at the time Ali was busy, so we were going to put an actual rapper in there, because Ali doesn't rap. From Tribe Called Quest, he doesn't rap. So, but I went to the studio, I met with Raphael, like we were talking for real about doing this, and after a while, it was just me and Q-Tip on the phone all the time. I'm like, okay, so have you talked to Raphael? And he's like, yeah, this is what Raphael does all the time. He kind of disappears, and you don't hear from him. I'm like, okay, I'm trying with this man. I really am trying. So people. And for a fact, with the mafia, it's a handshake with them. It's their word. You keep your word. We agree on something. This is it. Okay, you give me your handshake. They take each other very serious like that. And if you go against your word, they take it personal and they take you out. That's or right. Someone close to you that you love. So I'm just like, okay, Black people are always quick to say forgive, but I'm like, how do I find that place to forgive him for my house? I know what he told me. I know the promise that he said. It's like, wait a minute. I don't know.
No, but I mean, we're living this life and it's a journey. So, you have to find that journey, and we're here to help you. Okay.
I commend you for doing that though, Jackie. I really do, because my thing is when you were just telling your story, if you can forgive your family for is that what you're saying? You forgave them?
Okay. When I mean I forgave, it was more for me because I was starting getting heart issues, and then I went to therapy. Sure. And that's what I realized, because I'm an empath, and you have to be careful with those emotions. So yes, when I say I forgive, the 15, 16-year-old girl doesn't forgive you. The woman that I am now forgave you as a child of God. But trust and believe, if you want a glass of water and it's a hot day, you ain't getting it from me.
Exactly.
Okay? So exactly. I'm gonna be honest about that.
So in other words, okay, I forgive him because he didn't know any better. I forgive Cindy, Terry, and Maxine because they claimed that they were so afraid and they didn't know what to do. But they did the same thing again. So they kicked me out of the group in 97, and then here they come back in 2009 to prepare for the 2010 20-year anniversary. And so we toured that whole year, and they kicked me out again because I didn't choose the same deal that they wanted. So you guys, so now what's the excuse? You said that you didn't know any better when we were kids, and it was 97. Back then you didn't know any better. But here we are in 2009, 2010, and you guys are doing the same shit again. Now you know better.
Right. Now they're being greedy. Now that's being greedy. Because my thing is, for me, what I choose not to do now, Hardcore Glam TV, love you too. What people need to understand is, for me, again, I'm walking in this thing, meditating and everything, woo-saw, but trust and believe, if I got to do this, I will do this. But what I'm choosing to do is, they were greedy. Okay, when you can blame it on being, naive when it first happened.
Exactly.
And again, they're being greedy. Now
it wasn't even greed, because like I told them, you're not getting anything. Listen, there were 3 deals on the table. Those 3 deals were, and this is 2009, like I said, those 3 deals, let me see, those 3 deals were Sony Records is a major corporation. Then you have Warner Brothers, major corporation. They do movies and they do music. And then you got Rufftown. Who's Rufftown?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody tell me Rufftown? Anybody? No? It was nobody. It was like, come on, these 3 deals. And out of all those 3, the 2 majors and then this tiny little nobody, they're thinking that Rufftown's going to give us $50,000 a piece. And I said, you guys, first of all, if you read the contract, in the first page, on the second paragraph, it says right there in black and white, that you only get 10,000 upon signing, and the other 40 if the album sells. If the album sells. No, Dawn, you're wrong. You're wrong, Maxine. You're wrong. We're gonna take your $50,000 and split it 3 ways. I do very well with voices. I can mimic people very well. Dawn, we're gonna take your 50,000. We're gonna split it 3 ways. I'm like, okay, I gotta go. Because we had been on the phone for 2 hours. So a month later, Maxine sends me an email and says, Dawn, you were absolutely right. This Roughtown deal is crap, and we're probably gonna have to sue to get out of it. I still have that email. It's going in my book. I'm going to screenshot it and put it in the book somehow. And I said, Maxine, I got to pop my collar. Because I told you guys, don't sign. We were better than that. And you guys swore up and down that I didn't know what I was talking about. Terry was like, you need to explain to me why you don't want to sign the deal. I was like, I don't have to explain anything. We're not 21 years old anymore. I was 21. They were 22. And Terry's 22 years older than me. I was 21. She was 23. Cindy and Maxine were 26 or 7 when we got in the group. So no, I don't have to explain anything. I'm not a little girl anymore. We're not young like back in the day. But if you read your contract, and Maxine said, well, I didn't read the contract. Okay, well, that's why we're in trouble. Mm-hmm. That's why you guys are getting ready to sign a deal that doesn't make any sense.
Someone said about they went to Roughtown because they were told it was a better deal because it was Renee and Angela.
It wasn't Renee and Angela. It was Renee by himself. So whoever that is doesn't know what they're talking about. Thank you, but you don't know. This was Renee from Renee and Angela, yes. But Renee was a friend of Denny and Tommy. Really, Denny, Denzel Foster, our producer. That's why they signed a deal with him. Because they thought, and Cindy knew Renee from... She was a child star when they met, and I forgot what they worked on together, but he knew her from, so he didn't even want to sue after a while. When they didn't go, so, okay. We had these three deals on the table. They signed with Roughtown. Cindy and Terry ended up not liking the deal, so they stopped going to the studio to record. Maxine continued to go to the studio, and Cindy and Terry got sued by Renee. And Renee was like, Maxine, I'm not going to sue you because you came to the studio every day. You showed and proved. Cindy and Terry ended up suing Maxine in 2013 as well. It was a mess. So no, this was not Renee and Angela. This was just Renee. And Renee, because he had worked with Michael Jackson, built a studio. He worked on the Thriller album, and he had some songs on there. So because he had a song on that album, his song also was a hit because it was vicariously on that record. It wasn't released as a single, but it was on that record. And yeah, so Cindy and Terry were sued by Renee. And my thing was, again, you guys, we have the original 4 members together for the first time in so many years. Let's make the right decision. Let's wait for the right deal. But in fact, we can go to Capitol Records. We can go to Universal Records. We can go RCA, MCA, Motown. We can go and ask for the right deal because this is the 4 originals coming. So it's Cindy, Terry, Maxine, and Dawn is back too. You guys can call your own shots. We could have called our own shots.
You know now, if you guys came together to do a tour.
No,
okay?
This was then. This is not what happened now.
I know, but I'm just saying, but you know, and that's why I don't think people have the insight to look forward or look at the big picture. They're just looking at what's actually in front of them. And that's what you need to do. You need to look at the big picture. DT said, which one... DT said, which one in Vogue do you think would have been released as a single but wasn't? What was your favorite in Vogue song with leads from each Maxine, Cindy, and Terry?
Each what? Each record?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Let's go with the first one first. Which in Vogue song do you think what should have been released as a single?
From what album? Oh, that wasn't. Oh, I see.
That wasn't.
I think Desire would have been big. I think that was on the first album. Well, I never got to sing the song. So I recorded what became EV3. It was our 4th album. Mm-hmm. And I recorded that with them. And Right Direction on that album, I thought was just so magical because it was like a country western song. We were stepping into different genres by that song. You know what I mean? The guitar was like, it was very like, I could just see, and Terry she started the song on this dusty road. When I'm on this dusty road, I got to listen to it again, but that's what she says. And cause you can hear it. You can picture it like she's in this small town and she's walking with a suitcase over her shoulder, a backpack over her shoulder, and she's just like kind of like wandering the earth. And that's what it felt like to me. It was this country western song. It was very much out of our element, but because it was us, it worked.
Someone said Right Direction was a
Right
beautiful
Direction.
song.
Yeah, I said that. Yeah, Right Direction. It was so great. Right Direction, I thought, should have been a single.
Yeah, someone's listening to on the radio right now. That's
Oh
what
my
they're saying.
God.
You know, okay, so now you've gone through that hellish stuff that you've gone through.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing now to remain sane in this pandemic? Because let me tell you, yesterday was not a great day for me because, you know,
No.
you're isolated, you're home, because I'm in Georgia right now. And it's like being your own entrepreneur, you're looking at the walls and it's sucking in. So what are you doing in order to remain sane right now?
I don't listen to the government. I just don't. I have to wear a mask because if you walk into some place without one, I will be face down on the ground, handcuffed, and people are so fearful. They allow the government to tell us whatever they want to say. There's a saying by Hitler, that who's this most hated person probably on the planet. He said, when he was alive, if you tell people the lie long enough, they start to believe it.
Believe it. Mm-hmm.
Over and over again. Wear your mask 6 feet apart. Oh my God, you need a vaccine, 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 vaccine. Black people first with this vaccine. You're not getting me to do that shit. I'm not stupid. I'm not crazy. I listen to the news. As an empath, I'm going to tell you this. I have something that I posted maybe about, I don't know, a month ago or so. I've done so many interviews, but in between, I try to post a message, just having nothing to do with an interview. And it says, as an empath, you are supposed to observe but not absorb what's happening in the world. Mm-hmm. So I try not to, I'm going out. I'm not going to see, because at that point, they're controlling us. It's called martial law. Stay in your homes. Don't talk back. Wear your mask 6 feet apart. I think social distancing was brought up. I think a 16 or 13-year-old girl came up with that term. It's like, it's not even a thing. You mean to tell me that I have to wear my mask when I go into the restaurant? I wear my mask. I have on my mask. Hey guys, I got my mask on. I'm wearing my mask. I'm sitting down and I'm ordering my food. And as soon as your food comes, you can take your mask off to eat. Where does COVID go? When you take your mask off to eat. Sure. Come on, I got to look at common sense. To me, I can't listen to and obey what the government tells me. I am a rebel, and not just because, she wants to be against the government. No, because I see common sense. You guys are doing something with these masks. There's another screenshot that I have from Instagram that somebody put up, and it shows a woman with a mask on, and she's got a chain with a lock on the mask. They're trying to say that back in the day in Pakistan, Israel, that's why they have women wear masks over in those countries, because it takes away their voice. It stops us from communicating as human beings, because when we talk, we look at each other's mouths. We don't look at each other's eyes. Believe it or not, we look at each other's mouths. It's telling us that we have no voice no more. We as a government control you, because it's like the government said that there is a virus out there, and I know that there's a virus. I'm not saying that it doesn't exist, but people are not dropping dead every single day. You're not seeing homeless people being driven away in ambulances because they died of COVID out there. They're dying of it, but they're not. See, homeless people don't have masks. They can't wash their hands. They don't have a way of keeping germs away like we do, and over washing our hands and over putting, stuff on our hands all the time. So how are they not dying at an alarming rate? They're dying from it, but not like dropping dead, like, oh my God, like COVID is just in the streets running wild. And when I see people in their cars, I'm like, why do you have your mask on in the car? Take your mask off, because we are breathing also.
Carbon monoxide. Yep.
Thank you, because that's what they want us to do, so that we become susceptible to COVID. Mm-hmm. It's just like, Father God, I keep saying, God, just please wake us up. Whoever's doing this is crimes against humanity. It really is. So I'm like, okay, you got to get sunshine. You have to be outside of the house. You have to communicate with human beings. That's what they want to shut down. People talking to each other, relating to each other. Sometimes you'll be in the store and you're standing in line. You just start a conversation with someone, or they ask you about, oh my God, I wanted to try those chips or those crackers. Are they good? And you start a little conversation and it makes their day, or they make my day. Or, the cashier, and it's like we start laughing about something, and the person behind me is laughing as well, because we're talking. That's how human beings relate to each other. It's just really, I'm like, Father, this is not okay what is happening right now. To me, it is a plandemic, a scamdemic. And you're not going to get Black people to take the vaccine first.
It's
No,
not
please
gonna
don't.
happen. It's, you know, when you said that, I want to bring this up because I don't want to end our show without saying this. How did you feel when you found out R&B singer Aaliyah loved you?
Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
she
Oh my.
freaking, when I say she, you know, she loved you.
She
You were
did,
her
Jackie.
favorite in the group. How did
Yes.
you feel when you found out?
Oh my gosh. I have that clip. Somebody sent it to me. And she said, and I play Dawn. And I was
Yes.
like, oh my God. Because we saw each other one time. We were backstage and we were walking through I'm sorry, I was at a party at an after show after an award show at an after party. And we walked past each other and I saw her coming and she saw me coming. She was like, hey, Dawn, how are you? And I said, Aaliyah, how are you? I love you. She said, I love you too. And that was it. We didn't get to talk because we were both going and she was probably going to do press. And I think I was going to the car. So yeah, that really warms my heart that she played me in a play or she did some stuff with her friends and that she played me. That is really honorable. She was probably a rebel too, you know what I mean? To a
Yes,
certain
I
point.
think I can so see you and her having the same spirit because
Yeah.
if you go back in her videos, that's what I saw. I saw you
Wow.
in, you know, when you look at it and she had when she's talking and she's interviewing, I see her movement similar to yours. So it's almost like if
Yes.
you really go back and look at it, you'll see it. Okay, so if this was your choice, they decide to make an En Vogue biography, who would you like to play you?
Well, I don't like biopics at all. I think
Mhm.
that En Vogue deserves an actual movie. So I'm going to do a movie.
Okay, and who would you like to play
I'm
you?
going to do the movie. There's a show called Star. I think Star is on Netflix or Hulu. And there's a young girl. She's a little bit darker than me. She's a chocolate girl, but she's really pretty. She's feisty. I love her because of that part. But she's gorgeous and she looks like she's tight eyes and everything, just like me. Like she looked like she could be my daughter. Ryan. I think her name is Ryan.
Oh, Ryan, is she the one who was on? Yeah, she was the movie with what's his name, McDaniels or Lee Daniels?
Yes, Star. She's
Yes,
on Star. Yes.
yes. Because everyone used to think that she reminded them of Naomi Campbell. I remember
Wow.
that. Yes, I remember that.
But I love her spirit. She is no joke. She's feisty, and I
Ryan
know that she would play me. She would play me the right way. I wasn't always angry, but once I started to see the light of things, and like they say, the wool was pulled from over my eyes, and I was like, oh my God, we're not getting paid. We're send a record. That was me, and I think that she could play that very well. And I would play myself as I got older. I would play myself. Okay. I don't think they do that enough in biopic movies. Like the guy that played Elton John, I thought Elton John should have played himself as he was older.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, of course, Freddie Mercury can play himself because he's dead now, many years. But I thought the guys should have played themselves as they got older. Really, in that movie Queen, I don't think they actually showed the guys today. But sometimes if you're dreaming back about stuff and you're telling a story, why not let the guys tell their own story?
Exactly.
I don't get that. Why they don't use the people to say, what happened. Natalie Cole should have done her own story.
Yes, I agree.
Because she was alive at that time, and not Deborah Cox. I think she did a great job. Who played her? I think it was but she should have played herself. Because only she could talk about the hurt when her father died. He was such an iconic figure, and she looked up to him, and she would sing with him and perform with him, and so she emulated herself after her father. And I think her mother was a little bit jealous because of that. They had this very close relationship, father-daughter. Mm-hmm. So I think her mom was a little bit jealous of that. But I think I will play me as I'm older. I don't want anybody else they can't emulate the anger and the feeling that I felt and all of that stuff that I described, and how I was on the elevator after I left the group and they kicked me out, and we were going downstairs on the elevator and I was just looking at the floor and I could hear the ding after every floor, and we were at the bottom really quickly because I think Terry was on the 4th or 5th floor. It wasn't high. She wasn't high up. And Maxine said to me in the elevator, Dawn, are you going to rehearsal? Are you going to be at rehearsal? Dawn, are you gonna be rehearsed? And I was like, Max, I'm sorry. Yes, yeah, because I was out of body.
Right.
I was completely like, I don't even hear you right now. Like, I just don't. So those things I can't emulate.
You just said something, because when you were talking, what I saw while you was talking, I was like having an out of body experience, and you just said that. I see you talking, but I'm watching you while you're talking as if I'm watching Rock. Do you remember you guys were on Rock?
Wow. Yes.
Then when you kept talking, I remembered you on Different World. So you're talking and I'm seeing this whole thing playing out while you're talking. It's like I'm having an out-of-body experience. Okay, DT said, thank you for providing this time with Dawn. Dawn was everyone's favorite because she looked and felt real to us. Okay, everyone's calling you beautiful. Oh, Teresa Randall played Natalie Cole.
Teresa Randall. Yes, that's right. That's right. And she did a great job. But
yes,
yeah, I
just
thought
Glam TV. Sean A says Dawn gives it straight and direct. Cindy and Terry usually they're well rehearsed answers. Ooh,
wow.
Yes, and
I've been telling the truth for a very long time. I've been saying the same thing since I left the group in '97. So.
DT said, no shade, but Terry and Cindy were cool, but everything else was plastic. They seemed to give the canned answers and canned smiles. Dawn was real humble from the beginning. Agreed.
Wow, thank you, DT. Oh my goodness. Wow. Sean A, thank you too.
Yeah, 31 says, she reminds me of Lauryn Hill. Is it Dawn reminds you of Lauryn Hill, or is it Ryan Destiny who reminds you of Lauryn Hill?
She kind of does too, just because she's chocolate. Yeah, chocolate pretty girl. I have been telling this for a while. There were a few shows that we were on as a group, and this was '92, and we were in London. And the guy, it's on YouTube, and the guy says to me, to us, he says, "Well, so would any of you girls date a bloke? Because they call guys there, they call them blokes. Would you date a bloke who was poor and didn't have money?" And I said, "Well, we're broke. We don't have money." You know what I mean? I've been saying this for a long time. Maxine and I did an interview on Access Hollywood with Sean Robinson, and Maxine is sitting right by me, and Sean said, "So Dawn, you left the group and blah, 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 and what happened?" And I said, I was just telling the whole thing that I didn't like the fact that we were making 2 pennies a record. And this was in 2013 that I said this. And Maxine did not say, "Well, Dawn, no, that's not how it went," or "No, we made more money than that," or, she didn't contest it. She didn't say anything. And she was sitting right there, and I was getting deeper into, and I was like, oh my God, I'm sitting here with Maxine saying all this stuff. Because I was like, and the girls kicked me out. You know what I mean? And Maxine never said anything about it. She just kind of like, yeah, Dawn, we did. So, and we were also on a show called Private Sessions, and it's also on YouTube, and it's a white woman doing, she's interviewing us, and we do some live performances on there as well. And we were sitting on the couch, and Maxine, she said to me, "Dawn, so you left the group for a while." And I wasn't expecting this at all, Jackie. She said, "Dawn, so you left the group for a while. You took a hiatus and you did your thing." And I said, "No, I didn't take a hiatus. Wasn't happy with the kind of money we were making." What I don't like is that I didn't say we were only making 2 cents a record. I didn't make it definite. I just said I wasn't happy with what we were making, but I didn't say how much we weren't making or how much we were making, which was 2 cents a record. And I didn't say, and they kept Terry in the group. She did a solo album first. I did a solo album second, and they kicked me out, but they kept Terry. I didn't say all that. I was too nervous to say it in front of the girls. Now, today, this Dawn,
you remind me of the way you're talking, because you remember when TLC was going through their whole bankruptcy, and Left Eye said, "Okay, get a pen and paper. Let me tell you how the record business goes." And I loved when she did that.